New information in the case of a brain-dead 13-year-old girl whose family has been fighting to keep her on life support. Her name is Jahi McMath. Last month, doctors at a hospital in Oakland, California, say they removed her tonsils because she'd encountered breathing problems while she was sleeping. But relatives say 3 days after that surgery, she had a heart attack and blood began pouring from her nose and mouth. Can you imagine the horror from those parents? Doctors did eventually declare her brain dead, and the doctors said they needed to remove her from the ventilator. There was no chance for her. But relatives convinced a judge, despite all the medical evidence and the science, to let the medical team move her to another facility. The family's lawyer tells the San Jose Mercury News newspaper that the teenager has arrived at a new facility, but they're not telling anyone where this new facility is. This lawyer had previously said a medical center in New York might be willing to care for her, but is she here? We don't know. We have an attorney, Lisa Giovinazzo, with us on some legal issues. But let's begin with our own Leah Gabriel on the nuts and bolts of all this. You know, I was gone for a long time, but was following this over time, and all you can think about is this poor family.
It's a really tough situation, and as you mentioned, at this point, no one's telling us exactly where Jahi is, and all the family members are saying is that they continue to express hope. Take a listen.
We're very grateful, very proud. We want to thank everyone that supported us, everyone that stood in our corner, everyone that prayed for us, everyone that helped donate to make this possible. Without you guys, none of this would be possible.
Now, you heard Jahi's uncle mention donations. One doctor I spoke with said that the type of long-term care that Jahi requires could cost anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000 per month. The family attorney has said that all the publicity around Jahi's story has brought out the best and the worst in people. Take a listen.
We've had people make threats from around the country. It's sad that people act that way. So for Jahi's safety and those around her, we will not be saying where she went or where she is.
Now, according to the family attorney, Jahi left the hospital attached to a ventilator but without a feeding tube, and a doctor that I spoke with explained that the ventilator essentially pumps air into the lungs, and Shep, the medical expert, explained that that is essentially what keeps the heart beating.
Yeah, without that, there's no hope, according to the doctors. I mean, I hate to even put it that way, but that's what the doctors have ruled, isn't it?
Well, interestingly enough, it really depends on who you speak with. According to the Associated Press, 3 different doctors conducted exams on Jahi and said that she was brain dead. They said that there was no electrical activities in the area of her brain that control breathing. Now, the hospital where she was staying until last night has argued that her brain death means she's legally dead and that she should be disconnected from the ventilator. But one medical expert I spoke with said that the hospital was actually taking the most humane approach, and that any medical facility who tried to give the family hope was giving them false hope. Take a listen.
What you've done is you've prolonged a situation for them. You cannot give them what they hope for. They hope to get their daughter back, and that's just not going to happen. And you're just prolonging the inevitable.
Well, I spoke with the founder of a facility in New York who's willing to accept Jahi. She said that 3 weeks really isn't long enough to see if the brain might start to recover, and that her team wants to give Jahi a chance.
By giving Jahi an opportunity to recover, give her nutrition, give her what she needs. Okay, let's see how brain dead she is at that point.
Well, last night, the hospital released Jahi to the coroner, who issued a death certificate before turning custody over to Jahi's mother. And we're told that there's no cause of death listed on that death certificate, Shep, and that's because it would actually require an autopsy.
All right, Leah, thank you. This is, I mean, it's sad to even see that. Let's bring in now a lawyer for the legal part of all this. Defense attorney Lisa Giovinazzo is with us. When you don't have oxygen to your brain,
that's it. I mean,
the doctors have, except for that one person who I just heard from, there's no hope, sadly.
There's no hope. I mean, when there is an act, the Uniform Determination Death Act, and it dictates what brain dead is, what legal death is. Okay, it could be cessation of respiratory or cardiac, first prong, second prong, cessation of brain activity, and the brain stem. And that's kind of where the controversy is, because the brain stem has to be getting some sort of oxygen, but limited. It's not enough oxygen to have a functioning body to indicate that this girl will ever recover. I mean, the lack of oxygen to the brain, unlike other parts of the body, from the medical experts I've talked to, once your brain does not get enough oxygen, it can't regenerate itself. When the brain dies, it dies. And that's the saddest issue of this case, is because she is legally dead. There is a death certificate. A hospital, a medical facility in New York, I don't even see how they could legally take her. The insurance wouldn't cover her, the Hippocratic Oath of doctors.
I wonder who is advising this family, because to give people hope where there is no hope seems like the cruelest of all things.
It does, and you have to say all of these people donating to this little girl, they're probably families that faced a similar situation. Maybe they had children in a similar circumstance and they look for hope. But the advice that they're receiving is really doing nothing but prolonging a lot of anxiety, and the ultimate outcome for this family, look, the ultimate outcome, maybe they need time to get through the grieving. But the ultimate outcome for Jahi is this little girl is not going to have a viable life, no matter what they do for her.
Lisa, Leah, it's nice to see you both. Thank you. All the best to that family.